Every so often, the leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses will do the most annoying thing. They will make a significant, massive change to their doctrine or their policy, and right before they do that, they will upload something that is meant to placate or pacify their people. But for people that are on the outside looking in on the situation, it has one goal. It's rage bait. They are trying to make us rage at just how obnoxious they can be and the things they can say right before they make a massive change. And so before they made a adjustment to their viewpoint, a clarification, if you will, about higher or additional education, they had this guy.
Nope.
I don't know why I'm pointing. I think I'm supposed to point on this side. They had this guy, and he said this thing.
Some choose to dwell on the past. In effect, live in the past. Isn't it true that sometimes we do struggle to maintain the correct view, the correct focus, the correct attitude? We could become so wrapped up with living in the past that we find it hard to let go and move forward.
So, I know I shouldn't, but we're going to take the JW.org rage bait. So, let's do this. Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally, and today we are looking at a morning worship talk that was released just before they released the governing body update number 5. Quickly before we get into it, don't forget to drop a like on the video. It really does make a massive difference and help it get out to more people on YouTube, and I would very much appreciate it. We are well on our way to hitting that goal of 45,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Who knows, maybe we'll have to up the ante and go all the way to 50,000 by the end of the year. So if you could just, well, first of all, if you like this content, cool. And if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would very much appreciate it. With all of that being said, let's rage together.
Imagine if it were possible to travel back in time to change certain things in our life in the past, maybe things that we regret, maybe bad decisions we made, maybe hurt that we caused others, or pain that we personally experienced. Well, we know it's not possible to jump into some kind of time machine and travel back in time and change events. Some choose to dwell on the past. In effect, live in the past. Some live just for today, in the present, not thinking about how their choices will impact their future. And some live with the future in mind. Where will you allow your mind to travel?
This is some of the most obvious and blatant thought control. He's going later on in this talk, he's going to just come out and say it, how are we going to have the right thoughts? How are we going to think the right way and not the wrong way? But we'll get into that later. But it's hard because he's saying something that I personally feel is valuable. Having this over romanticization about the past and about situations, relationships, friendships, whatever the case is, and remembering them in a way that they just weren't real. It wasn't the reality of the situation, can be very harmful for progressing and moving forward in your life. Learn lessons from the past, take all of that data, and help it propel you into the future to become a better version of yourself. That, in my opinion, is very good advice. But it depends on who is giving that advice. Because if you are a doomsday cult who uses whitewashing and revisionist history in order to cover over the mistakes that you've made that have negatively impacted generations of people. In the hour-long video I made about the history of Jehovah's Witnesses and education, I titled that video Generational Servants, because that's what this organization has done. It has created, through their policies, generations of servants to Watchtower. It's modern day slavery. And they've done this, and after people wake up to the fact and are sitting there thinking, this religion isn't even the same thing that I signed up for. What am I doing here? And what do they come out and say? We've moved on. That's the past. 1975? You're really going to get hung up on 1970. You weren't allowed to go to college. That's in the past. You can't change the past there, bub. Wow, I got a little hair on my eyelash. That's distracting. You can't change it. Why are you whining about it? You're just so whiny. Move forward with your life. Everyone else is moving forward. It's embarrassing how you're just stuck in the past now. Like, don't you feel embarrassed that you're hung up on something that happened 30 years ago? While that might be true, because in reality, you can't change the past and you do need to move forward, I don't want to hear it from the person that caused the problem in the first place. You are not allowed to make the mistake, to cause the problem, to be the problem, and then tell people, don't worry about it. Don't worry about all the stuff that I did. You know, when you finally go to therapy, they are going to be the ones that are going to help you move on from the past and look forward to the future. They are the ones that should be saying that, not these idiots. I told you this was going to make me rage. Oh boy. Okay, we're just getting started here. I'm going to calm down.
Memories can fill us with joy or with sadness, regret, anxiety, resentment, anger, or even guilt. We might struggle with thinking about past mistakes, counsel we received, loss of a privilege, personality conflicts. We could become so wrapped up with living in the past that we find it hard to let go and move forward. Letting go of the past is hard, but holding on is harder.
This is so on the nose, it's unbelievable. You might be getting caught up on privileges that you've lost. Hey, Ron, let me ask you a question here. If there are elders who were removed from being elders, and judging by the comments, there were many of them. They were removed specifically because they allowed their kids to go to college, and you removed the most important thing in their life, their title of an elder. All right, you fundamentally destroyed them. You shamed them. You made them feel this small for wanting a better future for their children. Wow. You ruined someone's life because they want the best for their kids. And now you're going to come out and say, you know, we might get caught up on the past about times where we've had privileges removed. Why were they removed? Who removed them? Was it a mistake they made? No, it's not a mistake to want what's best for your kids. And yet Watchtower insisted that it was a mistake to want the best life for your children. They insisted that no, you need to repeat the past, the mistakes of the past. Instead of learning a lesson from the past and be like, well, maybe I didn't go to college because the end of the system didn't come. I don't want my kids to do the exact same thing that I did, and that my grandparents did, and that their parents did. No, I don't want to not learn from the past and listen to Watchtower, so I want what's best for my kids. And you were the one that took away those privileges. And now that it's all of a sudden okay, now it's totally hunky-dory. Everyone's just, having their cool JW beard now. It's all great. It's all fine. Don't think about how we ruined your life and then change the policy. It's absolutely obnoxious to include that in a list.
He let go of what he couldn't change. It didn't mean that these memories did not pop up into his mind from time to time, but the key is how he handled those memories. What did Paul do? He refused to dwell on the things left behind. They no longer concerned him. Much like a runner who focuses on the race course ahead of him, Paul focused on his future reward under God's kingdom. Well, what will help us to continue forgetting the things behind and stretching forward to the things ahead? Again, Paul gives some wise counsel that helped himself and helps us today. It's in the next verse, Philippians 3:15. He says, therefore, let those of us who are mature be of this mental attitude. And if you are mentally inclined otherwise in any respect, God will reveal the above attitude to you. Isn't it true that sometimes we do struggle to maintain the correct view, the correct focus, the correct attitude? We're mentally inclined otherwise. But how thankful we are that Jehovah is patient and he will reveal to us the proper focus, the proper attitude, so we can become and maintain ourselves as spiritual, mature men and women, and we can reach our spiritual goals.
This is obnoxious. Oh yes, we want to be mature because only a little whiny, snot-nosed baby is going to be caught up on the past. Grow up. Grow up. We want to have the right mental attitude. This is so annoying to listen to, and the timing of it is so specific. I have like a half a neuron here to think that there is a group of people in Bethel just like smoking a cigar, laughing at people. It's like, hey, you know what would be really troll and really funny? If we released that morning worship talk about not worrying about the past. As I said in my last video, I am pretty confident in saying most people, their biggest regret of being a Jehovah's Witness is not going to university. And that's twofold because it affects your life. You know, maybe not everyone was able to find their dream job despite not going to university. And the alternative of not going to university, what did you do instead of that? You know what you did. You pioneered. You were a good little pioneer, and you did that for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And now that you want to leave, or that, you know, the ministry is dead, don't you want that time back? Don't you wish you could? Everyone says this. Anyone that's pioneered that leaves is like, I want nothing more than to either get back pay for all of those hours that I spent pioneering and it was all meaningless. And I wish I could have gone to university. Like that two-pronged effect that it has on people's current life, I think is the most damaging aspect of being a Jehovah's Witness. It sucks the best years of your life and takes those away from you. And you're just doing free work for Watchtower instead of setting yourself up for the future. And it's just crazy. It's wacky to think that they are unaware of this being a major, massive, number one problem that people have with their organization. And to come out and say, grow up, don't be a baby, be mature, have the right attitude, and don't even think about it. The past is the past, just move on.
But rather than looking back at the comfortable life that they left behind in living in the past, remembering the good old days, they kept focused on what lay ahead of them. Yes, the reward of everlasting life on a paradise earth. The same focus helps us today. It helped Sister Audrey Hyde, which some of us remember well. It helped her to serve faithfully for over 63 years in full-time service. In her life story found in the July 1st, 2004 Watchtower, she mentioned some wise advice that she received from her first husband, Nathan Knorr, that he told her just before his death. He said, "Look ahead, for there is where your reward is. Don't live in the past, although your memories will continue. Time will help you to heal. Don't become bitter and feel sorry for yourself. Keep busy. Try to use your life doing something for others. This will help you to find joy in living." What wise advice for all of us today.
This is just so cool, isn't it? If the past was better, don't think about it. If the past was bad, don't think about it. So what am I to think about, Ron? Just, am I only supposed to think about the fantasy of paradise? Is that what you're suggesting? Don't ever think about anything real, tangible, provable, demonstrable, like reality. Are you telling millions of people around the world that they should ignore reality in favor of the fantasy of living forever where snakes are eating gooseberries and mosquitoes don't bite you anymore, and you have like pythons and little baby sheeps all hanging out together, and you're just inundated with a never-ending supply of watermelons. That is your practical suggestion for dealing with trauma. Huh. No wonder people are leaving this stupid organization. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The people that are going to leave, and the people that are going to stay, I think, are just going to stay. And talks like this just seem like they will placate perfectly the people that are going to stay. They'll all just link arms together and say, we're not going to think about it. I just want them watermelons and koala bears, baby. And they'll just ignore reality. So I'm a big fan. I'm not a nostalgic person. I don't really like to over fantasize. I'm probably over analyze about the past, but I think that it gives you information, and you should just kind of leave your emotions out of it. That's just a personal thing. Anyway, I just had to rage about this. I saw it right before or right as the governing body update happened, and I thought, well, I'm sure I'll make a video about it eventually. And then I watched it this morning and thought, okay, I'm just going to get angry about it real quick. So hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of raging with me. We'll try and keep things a little bit more upbeat. Well, actually not really, because there's another irritating section of the Watchtower that I want to talk about in my next video, where they're patting themselves on the back for helping women in difficult situations. And Watchtower has some interesting things to say, particularly to women who find themselves in very difficult domestic circumstances. So yeah, that one's not going to be very much fun, but I do want to talk about that one because it is pretty embarrassing for the organization to be patting themselves on the back where they really, really shouldn't. Anyway, that's about all I got to say for today. So with that, stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to spend more time loving the things you love than hating the things you hate. Now go out and have a good ass day.